You all, hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Hi, my name is Brooke, and on my channel, I like to do personal finance videos on Fridays and do short little lifestyle vlogs, that kind of things. I haven't really done too many lifestyle vlogs lately because I have been very busy, but I want to get back into it now that it's the summertime and we have lots of fun things going on this summer. But for this week's Finance Friday, I actually wanted to do a pay transparency breakdown because I have been working now for about 7 years since I graduated from undergraduate in 2019. But before I go into my numbers, I just wanted to say that this is not about boasting. This is about pay transparency. And if you watched my previous videos about my 30 by 30 goals, one of my 30 by 30 goals was to make 6 figures. And you will see that I worked my way up really hard to getting to this number. Now, when it comes to sharing your income, it is not against the rules at all. If someone tries to tell you that you can't share your income with another one of your employees or something like that, that is actually not legal. They cannot tell you to do that. So this isn't something that you should be scared of doing. I know that in the US context, it is very taboo to talk about how much you make, and I love that the internet has given us this place to feel able and willing to open up more about our finances and to really get into the numbers, because I think it really helps people be more educated about what they can do and how they can look at what they want to do with their life and really decide for themselves. And also, one of the things that I really care about is equity in pay, and not talking about pay with your coworkers is what keeps people's pay lower than it should be, especially for women and people of color, because the studies have shown time and time again that men get paid more than women do who are in the exact same position and exact same seniority. And a lot of times they don't even know that that pay disparity is there because there is such a taboo around talking about how much you make. So on this channel, I want to really open it up and really share that it is okay to talk about this. It's important to talk about this from a pay equity standpoint as well. And also to encourage you that whatever income you are making, you can reach financial independence, whatever income you are making. My parents worked very hard their entire lives, and my mom just retired, and they both worked jobs that would be considered more blue collar, working class jobs. We lived a very middle income lifestyle, and they were able to retire in a really good place because they were financially savvy with their money and they didn't live beyond their means. So, whether or not you are making $40,000 a year or you're making $200,000 a year, I personally believe that financial independence can be had by anybody. You just have to learn how to work with what you've got. And so that's just a little spiel. I know that was a little bit of a longer intro, but there's a lot of new people here, and I'm so excited to have you all here. Thank you all so much for subscribing after watching my Roth IRA video. I really want to demystify personal finance for you as just a girl on the internet who has learned a lot of stuff from other people. I want to give back in that way. So let's go ahead and get started with my pay and how much it has changed over the past 7 years. So in 2019, I got my first big girl job, I guess you could say, because before then I worked at my college library, and so I didn't have a full-time job or anything like that until I officially graduated college. I was very lucky to be able to be a full-time student and not have to worry about working while I was in school. In 2019, I got a job, and I did have to sign a contract that said that I had to work there for a certain period of time, and my starting salary was $50,000. And because I signed that contract for a number of years, in 2020, my income did not go up. I did receive a very small bonus, but it was only a $1,000 bonus. Effectively, my income for 2020 was also $50,000. Now, 2021 was where I changed jobs. I had been a little bit unhappy with where I was working at. I liked the people that I worked with, I liked the work that I was doing, but I just didn't really feel like it was a good culture fit for me. I wanted to be at a larger company. We were a very small agency. I wanted to be at a place that had more people that I could rely on to teach me and lead me, especially because I was only a couple years out of college. I didn't feel like I had enough support to really be in the position that I was. Also, because I had signed that contract for the time that I did, I wasn't really able to negotiate a salary increase. And so in 2021, that is when I really doubled down and looked for a new job. My job search took about 6 months, so that was kind of a long time. But in May of 2021, I started my new position, and this was at the company that I am still currently employed with. So I really love the company that I work for, and I'm very grateful that I am here, and I've been working here since 2021. And in 2021, my first base salary starting at this company was $70,000. So by job hopping just once, I went up $20,000 in salary because I took a chance and I decided to go for a new job. And I know that sometimes it sounds scary. I was really nervous because I had signed the contract and I was like, I'm not going to be working out the full contract. Will I get in trouble for that? Anything like that. I did not have any penalties or anything like that from not finishing the contract, but I it did hold me back for a little bit. But then when I made that jump, I'm so glad that I did. Not just because of how much income I received more on top of what I was making, but because it brought me to the company that I'm working at now. So then in 2022, I got a cost of living adjustment. And so that adjustment brought my total salary up to $76,000. And then in 2023, I also got another cost of living adjustment, and that brought my salary up to $82,080. So by 2023, less than 5 years after I had graduated, I was at $82,000 of income, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is like the most amount of money I've ever made in my entire life. I was really, really excited about that. And so then in 2024, I got another cost of living increase up to just $86,184. And at this point, I was feeling like I didn't really want to stay on the team that I was on. I didn't feel like there was a lot of growth for me there. I didn't feel like I was getting promoted the way that I wanted to. And so that was the year that I decided to change teams. And so even though I got my regular cost of living adjustment in May of that year, in June of that year, when I officially joined the other team, my salary got bumped up to $95,000. So technically, I got two raises in 2024, and then that was where I was at for the rest of 2024, was at $95,000. And then in 2025, I also got another cost of living increase up to $99,987.50. And this was where I was like, oh man, I'm so short of 100K. I wish they would have just brought me up those extra $12.50, but it's okay because in November of that year, I got a promotion, and that brought my salary up to $117,000. So that was a huge increase in 2025 from getting that well-earned promotion, and it finally brought me over to $100,000. So I reached my six-figure number, and that was like so crazy that I am only like 29 and making over $100,000. And well over $100,000. So that's great. And then here now in 2026, I got another very small raise, and that brought my current salary up to $118,755. So that is what I'm currently sitting at, and honestly, I feel really good about it. I feel like I have taken a lot of risk to get to where I'm at. I've changed jobs, I've changed teams. I have really worked really hard to get a promotion and to just not let myself be stagnant in my career, because the only person who is looking out for how much you're going to be making in your career is yourself. And you only have two levers really in life, is what the Money Guy show says about your finances. You only have two levers, and it is one, to increase your income, or two, to lower your expenses. And it's not always easy to do either of those. It's not always easy to raise your income, whether it's you're stuck in a job that just doesn't have a lot of upward mobility, or it's a really hard job market right now, and moving companies seems really daunting. I totally understand that. That's a very scary prospect in this economy right now. And lowering expenses, like if you have children, if you have a mortgage, if you have dependents of any kind, whether you are helping out family members or you're helping out your children and that kind of stuff, your expenses can't necessarily be lowered. And that is also just a fact of life. And so I think that I have been really working on that lever of raising my income, because having a higher income now also means that my trajectory could be much higher in the future. Like if I had stayed at that first job and I had resigned myself to staying on that contract and working for that amount of time for the $50,000, I would not have seen my income grow as fast as I did, because I took that chance. And I also got really lucky. Timing was on my side, and I can't say that that's going to be the truth for everybody else, but I got hired onto this job in 2021. This was like when everybody was in a hiring craze for work from home jobs, especially in the tech sector, which is what I work in. And so for me, like, I got really lucky about the timing of everything. So I just want to acknowledge that like, yes, I worked hard, but also everything lined up the way that it was supposed to line up in order for me to get here. So I don't want to discourage you all, that you might feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get there, Brooke, because like X, Y, and Z. Like, I understand. But the thing is, I think you also have to be open to allowing you to move into that position of luckiness. Like, if I had not been looking for a job in 2021 and I had resigned myself to working at the company that I was, then I wouldn't have been at the time and place that I was in order to get the job that I got. So, yes, there is like 99% luck, but there's still that 1% of effort that you have to put in. You have to take a chance on yourself, and sometimes luck will help you out the rest of the way. But that is all I have for you all today. Thank you all so much for watching. Please comment down below, what is your salary? Again, I'm doing this for pay transparency and pay equity. So if you don't feel comfortable, I totally understand. Like, this is a lot of oversharing on the internet. You guys have made me feel so comfortable in this community that we have built. And I am so appreciative of you all every single day. And we are working to get to 1,000 subscribers by my birthday, which is in October. So if you like and subscribe and share this video, that really helps me out to get to that goal. But thank you all so much, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, y'all.